if we told you one of America's longest running music festivals happens right here in southern Indiana?
This isn't Coachella, this isn't Bonnaroo, not even Lollapalooza. This is Beanblossom, Indiana.
Last time I left Tennessee, she told me that she loved me.
We spent the weekend at Bill Monroe's Bluegrass Festival in Beanblossom, Indiana. At 60 years, the longest continuously running bluegrass festival in the United States.
And we went to the festival with one point in mind: is it worth the trip?
And if you've been here before to camp, stick around till the end because we have questions for you.
Beanblossom, Indiana is only about an hour south of Indianapolis, tucked into the rolling hills of Brown County. At first glance, it feels kind of like stepping back in time to something familiar from when you were younger. There are shade trees, campers, and music is just floating through the air. The venue is a natural amphitheater, so bring your lawn chair, blanket, and a cooler. It's like a musical picnic.
And honestly, our first impression was, this doesn't feel like a big music festival. It feels like a community gathering that just happens to have incredible musicians. This festival was founded by the man many call the father of bluegrass, Bill Monroe. He helped create a style of music that blended old-time music, gospel, blues, and influences brought to Appalachia by Scottish and Irish immigrants. Watch for our upcoming video on the connection between bluegrass music and Irish trad music. But today, musicians and fans continue gathering here to celebrate that musical tradition. Check out the link below for more on Bill Monroe's legacy.
Owner Rex Voiles brings in 15 to 20 bands for this 4-day fest, most of which have won numerous bluegrass music industry awards. And the music is obviously the star of the show. But one of the things we noticed almost immediately is that you don't have to understand bluegrass in a traditional sense to enjoy it. Just enjoy it.
The energy is contagious. The musicianship is amazing. The sound system, spot on.
Children, all I want, my brother, all I want is little more faith to Jesus.
And there's something about these acoustic instruments and harmonies that feels incredibly authentic. We've been to a lot of events, and watching these musicians up close is really something special.
Even if bluegrass isn't normally on your playlist, it's hard not to appreciate the talent that's on display in front of you.
But the festival isn't just about what happens on stage.
Just like Billy Strings. I'd sing along with the birds if I only knew the words.
If I only knew the words.
The campground is really where the community comes alive. They have 300 campsites, from primitive tent camping to full hookup, 2 RV rentals, and 14 cabins. You'll see friends reconnecting and people sharing stories.
We saw people of all ages here, and everyone was friendly, polite, and welcoming.
What surprised us most, though, wasn't the music. It was the atmosphere. This doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel crowded. It feels relaxed. And maybe that's why so many people keep coming back year after year. There are people here who have been attending for decades.
You'll probably see them with kids and grandkids bringing up the next generation of bluegrass fans.
After spending the weekend here, let's talk about what we loved and a few things you need to know about before you come.
One of my favorite first impressions of this festival was the atmosphere. People just seem generally happy to be there.
The music is outstanding. A unique feature of the festival is the workshop segment. an intimate Q&A aimed at festival goers who are anxious to improve their own musicianship. This is an up-close and personal opportunity to pick the brains of professional bluegrass musicians in a low-key setting.
Like your E strings, he had tuned that to it. I believe it was an A and an E, I think, and so you could play kind of like an open, without doing any kind of notation.
My name's Robert Solfridge, and I grew up playing music. I started playing at 6-year-old. I have a very large family. We're kind of like the darlings on Andy Griffith.
All right, boys, let's keep your money in your shoes and it won't get wet.
Oh, no, Saul, that makes me cry.
Members of the band Tidal Wave Road, by their CD, were extremely generous with their time and knowledge. And they answered a lot of our questions, and just great to listen to in such a small setting. There's such a cool feeling here. It doesn't feel commercial or overproduced. It just feels like a tradition that's been carefully preserved.
One of the things that impressed me most was the unbelievable access you have to the performers. After every band performed, they manned a merch table at the covered pavilion, chatting and signing autographs for festival goers. Headliner Doyle Lawson, he is 82 years old, was still signing autographs and posing for pictures with people at 10:30 Saturday night when we left.
And that was after he played, what, an hour?
Hour and a half,
Hour and a half, maybe, session.
The things you need to know. This isn't the kind of festival where everything is shiny, modern, and packed with activities every minute.
If you're expecting a huge concert production with giant video screens and nonstop entertainment, this probably isn't that festival. But with one stage, the show moves with a steady pace.
And because it's outdoors in southern Indiana, the weather can definitely be a factor. The show goes on rain or shine, but depending on the weekend, you could be dealing with heat, humidity, rain, and mosquitoes, or all of the above. We, however, had gorgeous weather for the 2 days we were there.
Yes, we did.
Also, there were a limited number of food trucks on site. Now, if you're camping, that's no problem. But if you're a day visitor staying off the property, like we were, you may want to bring your own food, especially if you have any dietary restrictions. The menus were very heavy on meat and fried foods, yummy treats like that famous half-pound brownie, and their key lime pie ice cream, which I did have to indulge in. I did manage to find one vendor who had a salad and put some grilled chicken on it for me.
And the smoked pulled pork barbecue sandwich was outstanding.
It was. I tried Chris's and it was delicious. So if you're into the southern Indiana home-cooked food, go for it.
It was good.
Be aware that the schedule of performers can and does change. And if you're not there for the entire weekend, you could conceivably miss a performer you wanted to see. But you're warned in advance that it's subject to change.
But honestly, most of what we've listed really comes down to whatever your expectations might be.
If you come looking for an authentic music experience, a welcoming community, and a chance to sit back and relax for a couple of days, these may not feel like downsides at all.
No, not at all. In a world where everything seems to move faster every year, there's something refreshing about spending a weekend listening to live music, sitting under the trees, and simply enjoying the company of other people.
You don't need to be an expert on bluegrass. You don't need to own an instrument. You just need to be willing to slow down for a while. So, is the Bill Monroe Bluegrass Festival worth it?
If you're looking for a huge concert experience, probably not.
But if you enjoy authentic places, live music, friendly people, and discovering something that's been quietly bringing people together for generations, then
Absolutely, absolutely.
100%.
100% trying to see if we can work out a camping trip next year.
Yes. Sometimes the best travel experiences aren't famous landmarks or bucket list destinations. Sometimes they're places like Beanblossom, Indiana, where music, community, and tradition still take center stage.
So I have questions. Have you ever camped at the Bill Monroe Bluegrass Festival? We've heard stories about jam sessions, been known to pop up late at night around campfires, but because we were staying off-site, we were unable to verify that. It was a little too early for that to start up.
Well, we got a lonely string bass waiting here in the pickin' parlor for somebody to play it.
Have you seen that? Let us know.
Yeah, make a comment below because we would love to hear about your experiences there. And if you enjoy discovering unique places that are perfect for travelers over 40, we'd love to have you along for the journey. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much.